Hi everybody, I'm Mark Queen, and I'm excited to be able to spend some time with you today. We haven't had the ability to do that before. We're going to cover in today's video, several of them actually, through this series that you might be able to engage in. We're going to cover some topics that people have sent us questions about, and it'd kind of be ill-advised to start answering questions without kind of giving you some guidance about core score and the history, and maybe of myself a little bit in that realm. So I'll share with you that I started working when I was 7 years old. My father got us, my brother and I, a paper route. I grew up learning how to be very independent. I learned the concept of providing value to other people. But it was all, my livelihood and my childhood was about being independent and bringing value to the world, and it was really focused on how was I going to be able to do that. And so being independent when I went off to college, and I was always employed, always doing some type of a gig for myself to be able to survive and thrive. Went to college, wound up in the financial services business, and became fairly successful at that very quickly with a very successful firm. But the smartest thing that I ever did was I hired a coach. And what happened because of that experience is that coach made me interview my clients and get very vulnerable with them. I basically had to ask them why they worked with us. And the question that we heard seemed to be this story about wasn't that we had the world's greatest financial products, because there isn't such a thing. It wasn't that we got them the best rate of return. It was the fact that we were collaborating, and we were the ones that were willing to go talk to all of the different vendors and the people in their lives. If you will, think of an airplane, that the entrepreneur was in that cockpit, and there were a lot of people on the airplane. There were customers, there were service providers, attorneys, accountants, financial professionals, employees, customers, vendors, just all of these people on the airplane. And they began to tell us, but Mark, you're the one that's willing to come in the cockpit and really understand what we want to do, and you'll go in the back of the airplane and help us get that coordinated. Now, it's not that we can't as pilots go back there and do it, but we get paid to fly the airplane. We're the ones that take the risk to make sure the airplane stays in the air and gets where you want to go. And to have somebody that would be on our airplane that we could trust, that we could have intimate conversations with and really understand our feelings about what we wanted to do and where to take the airplane. To have somebody that could help us have those level of conversations, those C-suite conversations with somebody you could trust, and that know that they could go in the back of the airplane and work and collaborate with those people. And not only that, that if they didn't have people on the airplane that the conversation needed to be had with, that we would help them go out and maybe find those people. I began to question, well, I thought I was in the financial services business, and we made the decision to pivot. Before the word pivot ever became cool, I became a navigator. So our mission today at Core Score is to be that navigator, to provide our entrepreneurs somebody that can come in the cockpit and have navigational kind of conversations to say, where are we going? What is the top priority? This plane is in a nosedive and gonna crash. We need to have a conversation. What's the corrective action that needs to take place? It's not the navigator that's gonna push the buttons and run the controls to keep that plane from crashing, but they're the confidant to be able to say, well, what are the facts? What's going on? And to think about the different ways to solve it. And so very quickly, the financial career became way in the background. And this concept of navigating entrepreneurs so that they could truly define what it meant to be successful. And it's only when we self-actualize and we really define what it means to be successful in our own hearts and minds that we can really begin to identify, what do I have to do and what are the costs that I'm expending to get myself there? And it's our mission at Core Score that we help our entrepreneurs work at that level with two caveats: that we're not willing to help you achieve those levels of success at the cost of your family or at the cost of your faith. They're simply not acceptable costs. So as we define that as our vision, our mission is to serve and to act as that collaborative effort inside of your cockpit so that we can help you see what's going kind of haywire on the airplane. Why are your landing gear down when you're flying at cruising altitude? Why are your flaps on your wings, why are they deployed at 10% when you're at cruising altitude? It's not our airplane, so it's not up to us to correct it. It's up to us to have an honest conversation with you that you don't feel as an entrepreneur is threatening, but to bring an attitude of curiosity. I wonder why you have your flaps down. That's what we do at Core Score, is we get engaged with you to be curious. And then when you've identified, because the entrepreneurs we work with are intelligent, they're smart, they have great relationships, they've got great people in their lives, that we know that if we can identify the real problem, that you've probably got people in your life that can help you solve it. Now, on the occasion that you don't have somebody on your airplane, remember that seat I talked about earlier, where the seat's empty and you needed somebody on the airplane? You've always wondered why that seat's there. You always thought that maybe it was for a special guest or something. Well, it's not for a special guest. It's for that person that you didn't realize that they were the solution that you needed on your airplane. So if you've got empty seats, we've built a very large network of business-to-business providers that we know people's specialty. Matter of fact, many of them are clients that we've been able to learn what it is that they are specialized at doing. And so that when you need somebody to come on your plane to serve you, whether it's just on a temporary basis, or maybe it's once a year, or maybe you just need to take somebody on your airplane for a very short stint of time, we may be able to connect you to those type of people. So that's really kind of shapes for you the vision and the mission of what we do here at Core Score.